Now, you must have heard that your ego is your enemy. As a matter of fact, there's a popular saying that pride goes before a fall, and that you shouldn't be proud, that you should be humble, that only the humble are lifted. That might be very true. However, I think that there is a misunderstanding of the concept of pride and the concept of ego. So let's start by defining what ego is. What is ego? Ego is one's self-image, one's self-esteem, your self-image, your self-esteem, how you position yourself in life and in society. So there are things you do and people say, oh, you are proud. Or people say he's full of himself. In terms of business, you need a good self-image to succeed as a businessman, as a businesswoman. So why do I say so? Your ego and self-pride is the value you place on yourself. Remember, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you see yourself as inferior because you don't want to come across as proud, you will remain inferior. If you see yourself as incapable, you will remain incapable. If you see yourself as timid and you don't do anything about it, you will remain timid. Now, remember that business is a warfare, and only the brave survive in business. So how do you take your timid self, how do you take your low self-esteem, take your low self-worth to the marketplace and expect to succeed? How do you stay humble in quote? Or how do you not be proud of what you do and you expect to succeed? So the message here is you need to be proud. You need to be proud. But the pride here is a positive pride. You need a measure of positive pride in yourself, in your abilities, in your skill, in your vision, in your mission, in order to succeed at the art of business. So you have to have this positive pride. You have to be proud of yourself before someone else can be proud of you. So the idea that we shouldn't be proud needs to be re-evaluated and reconstructed. Okay? So when it comes to pride as a component of ego, your ego is very important. A positive ego is very important, just like pride. So it is your ego that determines the kind of business you go into. Your ego may permit you to become a paper seller. Your ego may permit you to become a car manufacturer. Your ego may permit you to become someone in the aviation industry, or someone in the railway industry, or someone in the oil and gas industry. Any type of business you go into is predetermined by the kind of ego you have in yourself, the kind of self-esteem, the kind of value. What you think about your life and your environment and your value is what determines the kind of business you go into. So you need a good self-image to succeed in business. So why is ego important to your success in business? Your ego determines the kind of business you do. Your ego determines what you put together as your core values. Your ego determines your vision. Your ego determines your mission. So the role of ego in your business is that it provides an overall framework from which you view life and from which you view business. Okay? So there is a healthy ego and there is a toxic ego. Now the toxic ego is what is most people's enemy. When they say ego is the enemy, I think they are referring to the toxic ego. The ego that makes you not to see the next person as being important. The ego that makes you to think you are the only person in the room. Okay? Or the ego that makes you to do things that are not ethically right. But there is also a healthy ego. A healthy ego that makes you to know or to set high standards and values for yourself. That can also be thought as being useful for business. Okay? Now, how can you develop a great healthy ego? Or how can you increase pride in yourself, positive pride in yourself? A simple way to do this is through self-confidence. You need to develop a good self-confidence in order to boost your ego, in order to increase your pride in yourself and what you believe in. Self-confidence is needed to drive your business. Why is self-confidence needed in driving your business? Now, if you are a businessman, you understand that you cannot do without marketing. You cannot do without sales. You cannot do without facing customers. Now, all of these things are achieved through a great reserve of self-confidence. How can you approach a customer to talk about your products and services without having some level of confidence? You need to have confidence in yourself, in your product, in the value you're bringing to the market. So how do you cultivate your confidence? You cultivate your confidence by understanding your strengths. Find out what are your strengths. Are you good at talking? Are you good at convincing? Are you good at public speaking? Are you good at selling? Are you good at marketing? Are you good at anything? So find out what are you good at. What are the strengths that you have? So it's more like doing a SWOT analysis of yourself. What are your strengths? What are your abilities? What are you able to do? Okay? Also identify your weaknesses. Are you someone who is finding it difficult to talk or to approach strangers? This might be your weakness. So improve your self-confidence. You harness your strengths and work on your weaknesses. One way to improve your self-confidence is to set realistic goals for yourself. Set goals. And your goals must be smart. They have to be specific, they have to be measurable, they have to be achievable, they have to be realistic, and they have to be time-bound. So set those goals. Maybe you want to, in a month, you want to have like 100 sales, or 15 sales, or 20 sales, goals, okay? Because when you set goals, you will very quickly understand the actions you need to take in order to achieve those goals. Action comes after goal setting. If you don't set goals, you won't have the right actions in place. And if the right actions are not in place, you will not be able to achieve whatever you set out to achieve, okay? So you set realistic goals, all right? And try to overcome the imposter syndrome. Always try to be yourself. Don't try to mimic someone else. Don't try to imitate someone else. Be yourself. When you're always yourself, you will discover that your self-confidence will improve. So remember, 3 ways to improve your self-confidence and to have a great ego that helps you drive your business is to evaluate your strengths and weaknesses, harness your strengths, work on your weaknesses, okay? Have set realistic goals and avoid the imposter syndrome. Now, once you've developed this level of self-confidence, you then need to leverage on it. You leverage this self-confidence is going to boost your ego. So what you need to do now is to leverage on your ego. How do you leverage on your ego? Okay? To leverage on your ego, you need to build a strong personal brand. Build a strong personal brand. Okay? Now, for you to build a strong personal brand, you need to set boundaries for yourself. You need to understand what you want to do and go all out to do it. Okay? Now, you also need to learn the art of negotiating with that confidence. Negotiate with the confidence. Now, most people go into negotiation trying to make sure that they win. Negotiating is not about winning. Negotiating is about understanding your client's demands and finding a way to meet those demands with mutual understanding. It is you understanding your clients, understanding their pain points, and asking the right questions to be able to help them solve those pain points. All right? And remember that in negotiating, you target satisfying your customer at a price that is reasonable. Okay? You're hoping that the price you eventually take from your customer to provide a product or service is going to lead to customer satisfaction and is also going to lead to your own satisfaction, because at the end of the day, you are in business to make profit. Okay? The third way to leverage your self-confidence, which is a positive ego, is to lead with authority and influence. Lead with authority and influence. How do you lead with authority? You need to know exactly the direction of your business. You need to know exactly the direction of your company. You need to know what the short-term goals are, what the middle-term goals are, what the long-term goals are, and you need to know the persons, the materials, and other resources that are needed to achieve those goals. When you have that understanding, your self-confidence goes into work. Okay? Now, remember that there are challenges that will come when you begin to act with a positive ego. First of all, a lot of people will misunderstand you. A lot of people will misunderstand you. So you need to learn to deal with criticism and rejection. For example, I told you that one way to make use of your ego is in sales. When you go to sales, definitely you encounter rejection. So you need to learn to manage those rejections. You need to learn to know that business is not a do or die affair. Alright? You're only there to optimize or increase the chance of winning, but you must not always win. So you have that mentality that out of 10 people I talk to, only one person may respond to me. So you learn to deal with criticism, you learn to deal with rejection. The second way to manage challenge or setbacks that come as a result of your improved ego or improved self-confidence, which you're trying to put into practice, is to learn from failure and move forward. Learn from failure and move forward. If you had a contract with someone and it didn't turn out well, and you find out why didn't this turn out well, and if the faults are from you, you look for a way to improve on yourself, improve on your processes, improve your people, so that you are better positioned to handle such contracts in the future. Maintain a positive mindset in every adversity. So how to overcome challenges and setbacks, the result of your improved self-confidence, which now makes you to go all out looking for business and contracts, is that number one, you need to learn to deal with criticism, deal with rejection. Number two, you need to be able to learn from failure and move forward. And finally, you need to be able to maintain a positive mindset in the face of adversity. Probably you set out to do a particular thing and it's not working out as you planned. You don't give up. You maintain your pride, maintain your ego. So when you try and fail, you try again a different way. That's how your ego, that's how your pride helps you to succeed in business.